हरे कृष्ण। सभी भक्तों को मेरा आदरपूर्वक प्रणाम। तो विल स्टार्ट दी स्मॉल प्रेयर। ओम अज्ञानातिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कथमायं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणी चारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा. So welcome you all for the small Japa talk. So today's topic thought today's topic for discussion is like familiarity breeds contempt. So आज का टॉपिक टॉपिक का हेडिंग होगा फेमिलियरिटी ब्रीड्स कंटेम्प्ट. सो टुडे व्हेनेवर वी डू, जब भी हम जप करते हैं, ऐसा हो जाता है कि हमारा जो जप जो होता है वो मैकेनिकल हो जाता है. That means like when we are chanting, most of the times we see our japa will become mechanical. Our tongue will be actually vibrating the mantra, but we may not be exactly hearing all the words from the we are reciting from our mouth. So why this happens, and most of the time we see that हमारा मन जो है वहाँ यहाँ वहाँ जाता है और बहुत सारा प्लान बनाता रहता है. So this is because we don't know like what is the value of this mantra. So Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has clearly explained the essence of this mantra. Namna Makari Bahuda Nida Sarva Shaktis. So all the Shaktis that is there in this Nama, in this Harinam, it is there. But we think that the Hare Krishna mantra, fortunately we have got it because of the mercy of the devotees. But still, when we are chanting the holy names of the Lord, we still don't have a complete faith on the names of the Lord. So that is why our mind actually looks into the various problems of our life and then starts planning for solutions of various problems of our life. And chanting is one time where mind is actually free and it actually starts thinking about all these things. But if we know the value, अगर हमें इस मंत्र का वैल्यू पता होता है और इसका एहसास रहता है, so then we can stop the talking of the mind and then ask the mind to actually concentrate on the names of the Lord, because the names of the Lord are so potent that all the solutions of our problem, we are actually chanting the names of the Lord to find the solution of the real problem of life. So if we can realize this, then we can actually hear the holy names of the Lord properly. So similarly, what happens is that we have become so familiar with this names of the Lord that we sometimes forget the important. We contempt or we offend the names of the Lord by not properly listening or to it. So in this principles, I would like to narrate one story where actually this principle is nicely shown as an example. So when you take the pastimes of Krishna, so in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, maybe chapter 56 and 57, so there is a story which narrates this familiarity breeds contempt, in which the story actually starts with the Shamantaka jewel. So the heading of the story is like Shamantaka jewel. So we know this Shamantaka jewel was actually given by Surya Dev Bhagavan to Satrajit. Satrajit was a great devotee of the Lord Surya, and then Surya Bhagavan actually gives this Shamantaka jewel to Satrajit. And Satrajit brings, I will not go very detailed into the story, I will only take the essence of the familiarity with content. So Satyajit brings this Shamantaka jewel to Dwaraka. All the people of Dwaraka see that it is as good as the Shamantaka jewel which he was wearing was resembling him as good as Surya Dev. And then it was giving a lot of opulences, like it was producing large quantity of gold. And also wherever it is worshipped properly, there would be no calamities. So Satyajit was having this jewel, and he was nicely worshipping, and he was producing a lot of gold out of it. So one day, actually, Krishna approached him and then asked him to give this jewel to Ugrasen, but Satyajit refused to give it. And then after that, a small calamity occurs where his brother actually takes this jewel, and in turn he dies. And this jewel actually goes into the hand of Jambavan. And Krishna again, Krishna was actually, uh, um, people started thinking that Krishna was the one who actually took, or Satyajit, they thought that actually Krishna took this jewel from him to prove that it was wrong. Again, Krishna went to Jambavan, and he fought with Jambavan and brings this Shamantaka jewel back from Jambavan. So in this process, he actually also gets married to Jambavati also. And as he brings back this jewel and gives back to Satyajit, Satyajit feels very sorry that he offended Krishna. And then in turn, he actually gives his daughter Satyabhama to Krishna. So now the real story again starts here. So after this happens, after Satyabhama gets married to Krishna, and when Krishna was not in Dwaraka, Akrura and Kritavarma actually talked to Satadhanava, and then tell Satadhanava that it is the nice time for you to actually take Shamantaka jewel from Satyajit, because it produces large quantity of gold. So why not you take it from Satyajit? So Satadhanava, coming into the words of Akrura and Kritavarma, he actually goes to Satyajit's house when he was alone, and actually kills Satyajit and takes that Shamantaka jewel from him. So once he takes this Shamantaka jewel from him, Satyabhama comes to know that his father is dead, and immediately she approaches Krishna, who was actually in Hastinapur. So immediately she approaches Krishna and then tells her that Satadhanava has to be finished. So Krishna comes back from there. He kills Satadhanava. And when Akrura and Kritavarma know that actually Satadhanava was killed by Krishna, immediately they actually, before that, Satadhanava actually approaches Akrura and Kritavarma for help, but Akrura and Kritavarma refuse to help him. So in turn, Satadhanava gives this Shamantaka jewel to Akrura and then leaves from there. Meanwhile, Krishna actually comes and kills Satadhanava. So after Krishna kills Satadhanava, so they would be actually trying to find this Shamantaka jewel. But nobody was knowing that who is having Shamantaka jewel. But Akrura, who was having this Samantaka jewel, thinks that something might happen to him. So he actually leaves Dwaraka and goes out of Dwaraka. So when Akrura leaves Dwaraka, what happens is in Dwaraka, some kind of ill omen actually arises in Dwaraka. And all the people of Dwaraka think that because Akrura has left Dwaraka, that some calamity has actually started in Dwaraka. So here, the devotees of the peoples of Dwaraka were actually great devotees, and they were actually in the association of Krishna himself. So when the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself was there with them, they failed to recognize that how can such a calamity occur, and they started thinking that actually Akrura would be the reason for our calamities. So this is what happens. So even this story actually tells us how even when great sages or when great personalities are there, when even the Supreme Personality was there, there are some people who think that the problems of my life are because of some other thing, but they fail to recognize that the greatest of the person is with me, and if I can take the shelter of this person, I can overcome my problem. So similarly, the Dwarka people also failed to recognize the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself was there. And how can such calamity occur to them? Indeed, they think that Akrura was the reason. But Lord is so merciful that Lord goes and searches Akrura, and then he knows that he is having the Shamantaka jewel also. But he says that this Shamantaka jewel actually belongs to Satrajit. Since Satrajit is not there, it should actually belong to Satyabhama or his grandsons. And then tells that it is not an issue that you keep the Shamantaka jewel, but at least come back to Dwaraka and show this to everybody and stay in Dwaraka. And Akrura actually accepts Krishna's offer and then again comes back also. So this is how actually Lord actually reciprocates to us. So in this pastime, we can see how this principle of familiarity. So we also sometimes uh, uh, being associated with the mantra feel that don't actually give a complete faith on this mantra. We feel that this mantra cannot solve all our problems of life. So we start planning on ourselves. But actually, if we can recognize that we are taking the greatest shelter of this holy shelter of the holy name, and this holy name has all the potency to solve our all material problems, then we can actually sincerely hear to the chanting of the holy names of the Lord and actually come out of this material existence. So this is a story which tells that familiarity leads to contempt. So we should not become very much familiar with the names of the Lord. We should know every time we chant the holy names of the Lord, we should recognize that this is the greatest asset that Lord has given to us, that a devotee has given to us. And if we can recognize that, such a person, they will never fail to actually associate with the name properly. Such a person will never fail to focus on the names of the Lord properly. So they can nicely hear the holy names properly and then get rid of this holy name. We'll stop here in the interest of time. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vanita Mata जी.
जी प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्ण, नमस्कार।
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, मैं उसमें क्लाउड में रिकॉर्डिंग कर लिया, कोई आप थे नहीं इसलिए।
हाँ हाँ, मैंने देखा एक्चुअली, और स्टार्ट भी हो चुका था। सॉरी, मैं लेट हो गई।
ओके, आप थोड़ा
जपा
रीड कर लीजिएगा माता जी।
जपा टॉप का टाइटल सजेस्ट कर सकते